Lit Views continues. Now back to our host, Libby Collins.
Throughout the years, I've had the opportunity to talk with many authors, but it's always the most fun to talk with an up-and-coming writer, especially when they're from our backyard. And joining us today is Kevin Doy Burton. He has a new book of short science fiction stories called Strange Tales of the Unknown. Kevin, welcome.
Well, glad to be here, Libby.
Now, you were inspired to start writing because of the work that you did. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, actually, Waukesha's been so good to me. I came to Waukesha from Chicago about 18 years ago, and I have my job as a psychiatric technician. And what I do, I find out that I am so curious about what goes on inside of people's heads that I start talking to people out on the street, people around the world by way of the internet, and I found out they have seen and heard and experienced the most fantastic things. And I sit around my balcony and talk to my wife, and I tell my wife about these. I said, you know, I could write a book about this. She said, why don't you? I said, I don't think I can ever write a book about it. But I said, well, let me write the first words down. And I didn't know if I could actually do it. But I believe in divine intervention. I believe that God sent me an angel. I said, God, sent me an angel that can help me write. And this is what got me started. I started writing things. I told my wife, look at each star. At nighttime, we're watching the stars. And I said, you know, we're about 93 million miles away from our sun, and our sun is a star. And if every star had the same conditions that our sun has, 93 million miles away, the perfect condition to have life, can you imagine each one of them stars that has one planet that has the perfect condition of life? What would that life be like? And that's when my imagination started coming about. Things start appearing inside of my head, and I wake up in the morning sweating. I say, I got to write this down. And I go on and on and on, but Libby, I don't want to take up all the time and do this.
Well, I'm so impressed by your enthusiasm. Now, this is not your first book, Strange Tales of the Unknown. You've written 5 books before this.
Yes, my first book was called Emanon. Okay.
And what was that about?
Well, Emanon is based on an average teenager who actually finds an extraterrestrial device. And he didn't know how to use it, but he accidentally finds out. And because of the powers that was granted it to him, it changed him. His personality, his IQ level has increased over 1,000%. And he started getting endowed with all these certain powers, but he kept making mistakes. And as he learned to conquer the mistakes that he had made, he found out that he was able to solve all the problems around the world. But in the meantime, he had to start with the lies of the police department, the government, the lies that was told to everybody, that he had to figure out how to correct this. And he became the most dangerous person on the planet, but also the most powerful person on the planet.
Now, it's not. This was such a popular novel. You wrote a follow-up to it.
Yeah, the people that was coming to my book sign and said, you know, the ending was so fantastic. Have you ever thought about writing a sequel? And I said, I don't even know how I wrote the first one. So I said, oh, God, I need to talk to my angel again. Do you think we can do this again? So I had this voice come into my head and saying, I know I'm a psych tech, but I be thinking, I'm not schizophrenic. I don't have audio and visual hallucinations, but this voice was in my head and saying, Kevin, start with the last page of the first book and begin that on the second page, the second book. And all of a sudden the words start coming through, and it wrote itself, and it becomes the journey of Emanon. And that he picks up where he left off after solving all the problems of the world and taking away all the nuclear powers and leaving everybody just perfect, a perfect planet. He goes off into the galaxy, and he meets another woman from another planet named Nova, and she teaches him how to advance his powers. And now he got to solve the problems of the planets of the other galaxies. He becomes a Zartolian soldier, and now he's very well known throughout the galaxy because they have watched his progress on Earth. And that is the reason why this extraterrestrial mechanism was really hidden on this planet Earth for someone to find. And that they find it, could you use it? If you could use it, you could be qualified to be the Sartolian soldier, the defender of the universe.
We are talking with a writer from Waukesha. His name is Kevin Doy Burton, and as you can tell, he is very enthusiastic about the characters that he portrays in his books, and his latest is called Strange Tales of the Unknown. Now, I know that in addition to the books that you're writing, you also are starting a society locally for people who are interested in the paranormal.
Waukesha, I want to tell you, because you are so friendly with me, and because of you, I am the way I am right now. I have, because of the books I've been writing, this thing of the unknown that I'm fascinated about, and the talking to the people, my family and I and a neighbor, we decided to come up with Wisconsin Paranormal Society Investigator. And what we're going to do, if you have anything in your house that you feel that is strange and unexplainable, and you want somebody to go ahead and look into it, I'm going to document this. I'm going to write another book. It's going to be documented. Your names don't have to be used. It could be a fictitious name, but we're going to document it. We're going to illustrate it on the book, and we're going to take pictures. We're going to have all our equipment, and it's going to be
wait, what kind of equipment?
Well, we have equipment like website that sells equipment like for monitoring hot and cold spots, ghosts, anything of that sort, anything that could register on the instrument. And it might not register at all, but the fact of the matter is we will come to your place, and I will write about these events and document it. And that's what it's going to be all about.
You're a real-life Ghostbuster.
If you want to call it that. Now hear me out. We're not trying to run them away. We just want to document real-life events.
Wait, you don't want to, okay, so let's say you find a home that you feel that has something going on, some sort of I don't know, some sort of a being or some sort of an essence. You're not trying to get rid of it. You just want to document that it's there.
Document that it's there. Because I was fascinated by this program called X-Files, where Scott Mulder, Scotty, they all go out there and investigate strange, abnormal phenomena that people had told them. That's what I want to do. I want to investigate. I want to know what's out there. I know God had created so much, and I just got to know. And that's what this whole thing is all about.
Now, with the books that you've written, and I understand you also have put together some screenplays that you'd like to see produced. Are they based on your own experiences, or are these all from your imagination?
These are all from the books that I've had written. I wrote 6 screenplays. A few of them are from the short stories of Strange Tales of the Unknown, Dominant Species, of 2 feature-length screenplays. One is Emanon, and one is Dominant Species. And I am out there on the market for someone who wants to go ahead and produce it.
Well, I'll tell you, Kevin, you are so enthusiastic. Obviously, you love what you're doing, and I really appreciate the fact that you took your dreams and you put them to paper, because so many people talk about the idea of, I should write a book, but they never get around to it.
Oh, God. Writing a book to me is like, how do you say it, a woman being pregnant. It's like you enjoy the art of getting it started. And then you realize, oh, gee, I'm pregnant with some characters. And these characters start moving around and start kicking. You're waking up in the middle of the night, you're sweating. And all of a sudden it's time to go to sleep, and it's like a person that has a remote control. And they're on a video game. And you put it on pause, and the video games are still. They're moving slightly, but they still. And so they wonder, when are you going to tell me what to do? What should I say? How do I go about my way of living? Come back to me. So now midway into this pregnancy of characters, I realize, how did I get myself into this? Then all of a sudden, toward the end, I get the kicking and the hunger for more dialogue, and finally, I'm saying to myself, it's almost approaching to the end, and I can feel the pain of it all. It's almost over, and finally, it's the end. Oh, it's over. It's over. Oh no! What happened? A new book has just been born. And then I turn into the first page and I say, oh, how beautiful you are. I am your mama and I am your daddy. And I turn it over to the last page and I say, it is here. I am so happy. You look just perfect. And that's how I feel about my characters. They're so emotional. You nurture it. It's just so emotional. You cry and you laugh. And sometimes you want to get revenge on the ones that get hurt by the ones that are stronger. And you want the ones that are weak to defeat the ones that are stronger. The ones that are out there that's trying to take over our earth. We don't want to let it happen. So how am I going to defeat these people out there? So you create something, a way of defeating them. So I've done it, and I'm happy about it. And the essence of what I feel is in that book, Strange Tales of the Unknown. And by the way, purchase it at Amazon.com.
I love your
And
plug.
feel free to do a review. I like the review.
Kevin Joy Burton, you are truly, truly a delight. And his current book is called Strange Tales of the Unknown. And for 94.5 Lake News, I'm Libby Collins.
94.5 The Lake.